Hey everyone, this is Player 1,
And this is Player 2.
and we're coming at you with another podcast.
Yeah, finally. I've been wanting to do one for a while because I've been angry this week.
Yeah, Player 2 has been trying to get me to do one. I've wanted to stay away because I know if I sit down in a podcast, I'm going to talk about all the crap that's been happening in the news with video game companies. But let's start soft. Let's start not too bad. Let's start talking about what do you want to talk about first?
Well, you know what I want to talk about, but I guess we'll hit it softly. We won't do all the negative stuff first, but you want to talk about Switch saves.
All right, Switch saves. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this. There's been an update to the Switch. As a recent new Switch owner, I mentioned in the pickups video from the last one we did, I got it as a gift, so now I've been kind of hip to what's going on. Well, the new update allows you to record video while you're playing, which for me doesn't really mean much. I guess
You definitely don't want to do that because the Switch doesn't have that much memory to begin with.
Yeah.
That much storage. Sorry, not memory, storage. So you don't want to be saving your video.
I don't know if you can save it to the SD card, but whatever. Probably not because it's save files. I'd have to look that up. But the other thing is they made it possible to switch your save files, which this is something we've been asking for. I think a lot of people, and definitely I think it's ridiculous that you can't put your save files on your SD card. Well, now you can transfer them to another Switch. However, there's a caveat there. You have to have both Switches next to each other and do the transfer. So if you have some kind of hardware issue, you have a situation where you really can't turn in a Switch without getting another one and having it at the same time.
Well, see, that's my issue because let's say your Switch is defective and you have to send it to Nintendo. You're kind of out of luck.
I think there was a guy in some forum somewhere that said that he was able to re-download through a cloud or whatever his saves, but that was because he sent it to Nintendo. But if you bought your Switch somewhere else, like let's say Best Buy, you'd have to buy another one and have them both there at the same time. Plus, you also need a Nintendo account. So you have to go through that whole stupid process just to transfer saves, which is ridiculous, you know?
Or if you get a cool representative at the store, they might be cool enough that while they're putting your Switch as defective, they bring out a new Switch and allow you to actually do the saves there. Though, it all depends on who you get.
Yeah, you can't count on that.
It really depends on who you get, but in my opinion, they should allow you to put your save files on your micro SD card. Period.
Yeah, that's just a form of control. That's all it is, man.
But it is an update. It's better than what we had before. And I guess...
And eventually it's not going to work because I don't know how many save files I have on my PS4, but I know it's several gigs. So if you have 26 gigs, downloading games and all that, that's going to go pretty quickly. Now, yeah, you have the ability to get an SD card, which is micro SDs in general aren't that cheap, by the way. And the most you can get is like a 256 right now.
I don't know about you guys, but if you guys don't know, micro SD cards are going to go up in price.
They've been going up since the Switch. Especially since their little partnership with SanDisk.
Well, not just because of the Switch, it's because micro SD cards and micro SD technology is going up regardless. But even with that, there's not a lot of space. So right now, we are good if you have a 256. But
yeah, that's expensive, man. I'm not going to...
Yeah, it is expensive. But let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say you were able to buy a 256 gig micro SD card. You're okay for now. But going down the path of another year or two, that's not going to be the case because all these games that are now partly on the cartridge and partly that you have to download are going to be an issue. Kind of like that NBA 2K video game. So, but anyway, it is a step in the right direction as far as then allowing you to save on another Switch. Be better on the micro SD card, but it is what it is. So I guess the next thing you wanted to talk about was about limited run games coming to...
That's right, limited run games. So now it's been officially announced that limited run games will be getting Switch games starting next year. This is good, and I think probably most people listening to our channel have a good idea of how limited run games works, that you can get games that were previously not available in physical copy. Often that involves paying quite a bit more money, and that's just a real fact. That's what they decide to charge for whatever reason. The issue with limited run games, I'm just thinking down the line, is how much are those Switch games going to cost? What's been happening with Switch games since it came out, bringing out games that are $10 like on Steam or have been out for 4 or 5 years for $60, $50, that's really some serious BS there. That's everybody taking advantage of it. Both Nintendo and developers taking advantage of that extra money. So I'm concerned that limited run games tries to do the same kind of thing because frankly they would be able to. and get away with
I
it.
just hope
So I
that
wonder how much that's gonna cost, because paying $50 for some Switch games that are like, these typical limited run games that are just kind of indie games that aren't that long or anything. I think that's a little much.
well, see, I'm in agreement with you. I think that $60 games for something like an indie game that's literally on Steam for like $20 or on PSN for $20.
Sometimes 10, man.
Yeah, so that's excessive. I'm excited because I will get some physical copies on the Switch. So that in itself, I'm excited about. Maybe they'll bring out some other older games that you can no longer get in limited run anymore on the Switch.
I don't think so. Well, maybe.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they bring back some of those games, but it'll be hard. They have to make sure to have a license to print on the Switch.
There's a couple of games that I missed out, and if they do bring them to the Switch, that will be cool. Though the pricing is where I'm worried. So I guess it all depends on the pricing, but it is at least some good news that we're getting some physical copies for the Switch.
I agree.
Now that we've talked about this, we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this podcast.
I want to choose fervor.
Yes. I have been so angry this week that's all I've been talking about because it's such a douchebag move. Of course, I'm talking about loot crates and the gambling that's happening in video games that people, or should I say companies, do not want to call it gambling because it is gambling. And it is a sort of psychological manipulation of the gamers and the public and children. Because let's be real about this. A lot of games that use loot crates are being played by children that are underage. We can talk about teenagers and we can talk about us grown-ups playing them. That's one thing. But they are marketed to kids. For example, this whole loot crate system is kind of like a casino slot machine. You roll the dice. Hopefully you get something that's rare or something that's valuable, or that
you often don't.
You often don't because their percentages are very low. They don't even talk about them, so you don't know what's the average percentage that you might get something rare. And at the end of the day, like I'm saying, it's psychological manipulation because the more you don't get and the more you put money into it, you start getting dependent on it.
And beyond the psychological part, it's a very real fact of how it affects game development. Look at Shadow of Mordor or more dollars, whatever you want to call it, Shadow of Mordor, right?
Yeah.
That end game to get the true ending. The truth is, you have to grind for that sucker, and you have to grind it in a game that basically is a long grind for the most part. That's the truth. The story's not quite there if you believe what people are saying. So now you have an ending that either you choose to grind your butt off, or, you do a couple, waste some money and get some works, get what you need.
Well, but see, here's the thing. It's not just, if you were just saying, okay, I'm going to put an extra $5 to get some rare orcs, and then I can just skip 10 hours of grinding. But no, it's not that. It's you put money down, then it's randomized whether you're going to be getting...
Yeah, this really is the next step from microtransactions to the next step of real screwing the player over.
So, yeah.
Loot boxes should not exist. If they're going to exist, they must be only within the game and only within game currency. No loot box should exist with real money that you pay for. It just should not be allowed. There's no need for it. There's no need for it. And people like to use the excuse that, they need to find a way to make the money back. Please learn this lesson and learn it now. What they're telling you is not true. They always try to talk about the fact that to be profitable, you need microtransactions now because games have been $60. That's all BS. They are making plenty of money. This is why a game that sells 2 or 3 million copies is still a huge hit. This is why a game like Horizon Zero Dawn that really has sold, I think, even less than 4 million copies is good enough that Sony is basically wetting themselves with the idea of how good it is. So that whole idea that you need all this extra money is ridiculous. It's a lie. They do not need it. They're just monsters. They're like dragons with their treasure protecting it, man. That's all it is.
It's an insatiable thirst. Basically, these games do not need to cost more. This whole idea of $60, it's BS. These companies, let me put it this way. Metal Gear Solid, which was the most expensive game, Metal Gear Solid 5, the most expensive game of that year, which cost $80 million.
And a lot of that is advertising too. That's the problem.
Yeah, and marketing, which those departments shouldn't exist. But anyway, they were saying that it was $80. And I remember at the time, all the big news outlets were saying that $60 isn't enough because look at them. They paid $80 million for this game to develop it. They made their $80 million back and more in 24 hours of that game being released. So you could imagine how much they've made even after that by now. So they are making money. When you have games like Call of Duty, Destiny, Assassin's Creed, these are games that are making hand over fist amounts of money.
Not to mention that some of these games, not counting the actual price of actually what the game costs and what they waste on marketing, they just reuse these assets like it's a joke. Call of Duty has looked the same since freaking Modern Warfare 2. Really, there hasn't been an improvement. It's still a crappy looking game. It blows my mind that Call of Duty looks so freaking crappy, and it's been the best-selling franchise for I don't know how many years.
Well, yes, correct. But anyway, I wanted to get back to the topic of loot crates. So, Shadow of Mordor uses loot crates. And let's be real about it. That was a greedy move. Everything that they did with this game was greed. The issue that they had with trying to supposedly donate a portion of the DLC character to the family, but then still trying to keep some of that money for themselves, and then only in certain states where they're going to donate, the rest of it was going to be 100% profit. Granted, they already removed that, and now
they only removed it because of people talking about it.
Yes.
That shows you something. There's a problem there.
So then you have the issue with loot crates in the game, then you have the issue, everything that they've done. So these are scumbag moves, and they show you what they're really thinking about. So loot crates in itself, they're not purely cosmetic. They're a greedy move to take your money. So with that said, I do like the fact that there's a lot of people that are actually talking about this now. Apparently outside of the US, they're trying to get serious about it and possibly regulate it. I wish they would do it here, though I'm kind of scared because, again, not everything turns out great for us, the consumer, but it is becoming a cesspool that if we don't do something about it, it's going to end gaming altogether. Because the next topic I'm going to talk about is just that example. Every year is something new. And now with Activision patenting manipulative multiplayer, just look at the name, Manipulative Multiplayer. That should tell you that their focus is manipulating you into spending more money, into using loot crates, into actually selling you more products. This software or algorithm that they're going to use, they say they haven't used it yet and they may or may not use it. It's a patent. Yes, correct. So they may end up not using it. But chances are...
Activision last year made $3.6 billion in microtransactions.
Yeah, so...
You can't tell... When you see that much money for content that was programming a weapon is a joke. Programming a costume is a joke. When you see that much money, you're not going to turn away from it. And that's what they saw. They saw we made $3.6 billion profit on anything that has to do with loot crates and in-game content. You know what we can do? We can now make it even better. So we're going to manipulate these people. A lot of kids, unfortunately, manipulate them into buying it.
Yes, and so how this software works or algorithm, it will try to tie you with a person that has, let's say if I buy a gold gun and player one does not have the gold gun, it's gonna try to put player one in my game or in my multiplayer match so that he's surrounded by people who have bought the gold gun, so that it pressures him into buying the gold gun. If he dies from a person that shoots him with the gold gun, then it'll offer him to buy that gun. If that isn't manipulation or psychological manipulation, I don't know what is. Because afterwards, if player one then buys the gold gun because of pressure or he just says, whatever, let me buy it, maybe it's better, they will then match him with a person that doesn't have that gun to pressure the other person.
It's basically like a drug addict, right? You have the person selling drugs, and then you have the drug dealer saying, hey, let's peer pressure this kid into it. Make sure he knows it's cool. Everybody has it. You know, you should have it too. Why don't you get a taste of it and buy it? and then move on to the next one, and then move on to the next one.
And this is scary because this is just going back to like loot crates. It is psychological manipulation. And the title is manipulation. So they even wrote it on their title. They're not even being secretive about it. That is what they want. And that is what they want to do to you. So that has had me pissed off the whole week. Plus the loot crate issue. And the fact that, you know, this is all coming from the stem that they don't want to develop single player games, campaign games. They don't want to spend time on that. They want to give you a multiplayer game, something that you can play, push a couple buttons, but that they don't have to spend a lot of money producing, and at the same time they reap all this reward. So again, we talk about $60 games, but most of these titles that they always make these arguments for $60 games, they're hollow games. So that's had me pissed off, and that alone, the manipulative multiplayer, incredibly pissed off, because they may say they haven't employed it yet, but when they do employ it,
you're not gonna know.
You're not gonna know because they ain't gonna tell you. So just watch out, guys. Just be real.
I want to be real frank with everyone here. Those of you listening, I would like to know what you think. We would both like to know what you think about this, but I stand by this. Do not buy a game that's a piece of crap like Star Wars. Don't do it. Even if you think it looks nice, get it pre-owned. Find a way not to give the money to them. Do not support that. And do not buy microtransactions. I know it's tempting. I'll be honest with you. I was pissed when I was playing Black Ops 3 the zombie mode that I never got any of the cool camouflages. Because you had to buy them all. That's how it was. There was a couple cool ones, but for the most part, after you unlock them, you was just buying them. But I refused to give them that cash, and I guarantee if it was to change, it would stop. But with $3.6 billion a year coming in, or more next year, the fact that they said recently after revealing that to their stockholders that they're still in the early stages of understanding how microtransactions and in-game content work. That's scary to hear something like that when they're making that much money.
And just look at what's happened in the recent NBA 2K. Just look at Destiny 2 with the shaders.
It really has gotten excessive. And this is why I told you I didn't want to do a podcast, because it's to the point where, frankly, I'm not looking at a future gaming. I keep telling myself, this is the last console I'm going to buy. I have plenty of games, you know, I don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. That's how I've become, and I'm getting to a point where I'm seeing what's happening as this continues. It's only getting worse and worse. There's no, light at the end of the tunnel for this. So I really see myself just kind of becoming an official only retro gamer dealing with old consoles, because this is ridiculous.
Just know this. Just because you spent $1 doesn't mean I just spent $1. I didn't give them much. Just imagine how many other millions of people just spent that $1 or that $5 or the $10 or the $20 or the season pass or the collector's edition or anything else that they're trying to shove down your throat. It's money that you're giving them.
Yeah, man, I can't
vote with your wallet on that. And I strongly urge you guys, if we don't actually take back somewhat control, it's going to be worse.
It's already gotten to a point where it's out of control, but it's really getting bad. It's getting to a point that manipulative multiplayer is really the next step to chaos. It's crazy. People may not think it's a big deal, but it's a very big deal.
It's a big deal because they're basically telling you that we're going to manipulate you psychologically to take your money.
Now, talking about this, you mentioned single player. Did you mention the visceral games?
No, that's another thing that I want to get to and kind of slide into it, because this is just showing you guys. They decided to close Visceral Studios, right?
Yeah.
So
if you don't know them, they're the ones that are responsible for the Dead Space, which were great games, really.
And they were making a Star Wars campaign game, and they just decided we no longer care about that.
Now, here's the story. They said that supposedly it was because they were following the market trends. So this is the response of a company like EA, $1 billion company. The response is, we're following the trends, which is a nice way of saying Shadow of Mordor, the fall release for WB, bombed. Evil Within 2, bombed. And we've been really seeing that these fall big games are bombing. So their response are failing. So they're saying, we're following the market trends and we want games that will provide more replayability. Replayability is a synonym for multiplayer. That's just the way it is.
Let's just be real about it. When they say they're following the market trend, they're basically looking at all these companies like Activision, Call of Duty, Destiny 2, Shadow of Mordor, Assassin's Creed, who also has loot crates. They say they don't, but there's a thing that's called loot crates in there.
They have it, and they say it's in-game currency. Probably because of all this that's happening, they've kept it that way. I don't trust Ubisoft to not have real currency.
They have that. Then you have NBA 2K. You also have, I think there was another, Star Wars. You just mentioned it. All these things have loot crates. And even though Assassin's Creed says that they may not be doing it yet, don't be believing everything that these companies say, because a patch is around the corner. If they don't give it to you today, just expect it 2 or 3 months down the line. They can just patch it and all of a sudden
just
have it in there.
Remember, they added microtransactions to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Just remember, they added microtransactions to a remake of a game that didn't have it.
Yes, so again, when they say they're following the market trend and watching it, that means we're gonna do what the rest of the big boys are doing. So if the big boys want to mess you up psychologically, want to shoot loot crates, hey, if the big boys want to send a bouncer to your house and beat you up for your money, hey, that's part of the market. Let's follow that. So we don't need single player games. So that's basically what I hear when they tell me that.
Again, more of a reason why I'm just saying goodbye to gaming.
And mind you,
PS5 and on, man.
These are the same people that a couple years ago said that couch co-op, nobody cared about them. Nobody cared about single player games. Yet we have seen countless examples that people love couch co-op. People love single player game. If people didn't like single player games,
wouldn't be made.
Wolfenstein wouldn't be made.
Resident Evil 7 wouldn't have been made. Nier wouldn't have been made.
Uncharted. Horizon Zero Dawn. And all these other single player games that are successful.
Witcher 3.
Just look at
Skyrim.
Yes. And just look at the response of people in E3 when they saw Spider-Man. Just look at that.
Yeah, man.
People are excited for single player games. And same thing goes for couch co-op. I love couch co-op. I love to sit down with my friends and play. Just look at what happened with Halo 5, I think it was. No couch co-op, right? Now they're going to have couch co-op because they saw a dip in their money. People want this. This is things that people want, but unfortunately they're trying to push us in the wrong direction.
It's simple. They're pushing it because, frankly, when you just look at the money, it's cheaper to make a multiplayer Halo game than it is to make a game that has a story. That's just a fact. So that's how it is. And so obviously on their side they're like, why would we spend the money? Yeah, we're still gonna make money, but why would we spend the time and resources on a voices, acting, writing, whatever you need, everything you need for a single player game, when I could spend half of that, if not even less, and make much more through these manipulative ways of microtransactions, boxes, loot boxes, and all that, loot crates. It's just, I understand where they're coming from money wise, but this is ruining the industry.
I understand, but I look at it like this. I consider the gaming community, the gaming world, kind of like an environment, an ecosphere. The more these guys come in there, they're sucking up all the resources. Eventually, it becomes to the point that it cannot sustain itself. And that's why you hear people talking about the bubble. That's why you have these news articles that are now coming out that fall games are not selling. People are not buying the AAA games. And it's because of these things. But of course, they won't see it like that. They're going to say that it's campaign games that are not selling. Couch co-op is not selling. But they're not seeing that the reason why these games are not selling is because they're bad games. That's the bottom line. So it's sad when a studio that's working on a new Star Wars campaign gets closed down.
Yeah, because I think they had said, or somebody had said it was like in the lines of Uncharted, basically meaning like a full real story, man, a good story. We all know, which we don't have for Star Wars, do we?
No, I would love it.
I'm sure everybody wants one. Anybody who played that Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, I'm sure everybody who played that at least one time while playing it said, "Damn, I wish I could really play as Luke." Or I wish I could have a campaign and play through this.
Yes, I'm one of those people. I would love to play as one of the main characters. I've been wanting it for years. So I got excited when Star Wars 1313 was the trailer. I was so excited. And then when I heard about it, I was like, man, what the hell are these people thinking? But anyway, now the next thing that Player One wanted to talk about with the fall games and how they're failing and all that, we started talking about strategy guides. And basically,
we received a question through message. Somebody messaged me and was asking me about games because I did that. If you guys haven't checked it out, please check out our 10 games, scary games to play for Halloween. And somebody messaged me if I
check it out. Player one worked real hard on it. He sat there for a long time trying to find out the games.
Yeah, it's hard because there's a lot of games I didn't mention on there. I had an idea to do like another video, like 10 more games, but I guess that people weren't that interested. But if you can, check it out. Regardless, I got a message about the idea of using strategy guides for some of these tougher horror games. And so I put the question to you, player two. Do you use strategy guides or e-guides or like walkthroughs, that kind of thing?
Yes and no. For example, if I'm playing a hard game and I'm just stuck, yes, I have no problem using a strategy guide or going through a walkthrough or going on a forum and looking how to beat that level or that boss or whatever the case is. I have no problem doing that. I tend to try to not do it because I want to play it through, but I have no problem getting a strategy guide. For example, The Witcher 3, Skyrim, those are games that I have personally bought a strategy guide for because I want to get completely immersed. I want to play the whole world, and they're good games.
It's useful for the quest or whatever.
Yes, they are useful. So, and sometimes they're useful just to find out where everything is.
Yeah.
So, yes, I have bought one. I wanted to buy one for Horizon Zero Dawn because I kind of like the collector's edition strategy guide, but it was too expensive, so I couldn't afford it. Hey, Sony, if you want to send me one, send me one. But
after all the crap that we talk about, I don't.
Well, no, Horizon Zero Dawn. I love that game. I'm telling you, not that I'm sending out or anything. I love that game since before it came out because I thought
you got me into that game. And we have a review, by the way. If you check this out and you haven't seen it, check out our review of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Let me put it this way.
Detailed review.
Let me put it this is my honest opinion. I think Sony has been doing great with their first party games like Uncharted, like God of War. I'm excited about God of War. Spider-Man blew me away.
Now you mention it. They're the only big AAA publisher, if you consider them that, which I do, saying, here are a bunch of single-player games. Like you said, we have God of War. You know Horizons 2 around the corner sometime in a couple of years.
Yeah, of course.
The Spider-Man. We have that, what's it called? The zombie one? I don't remember. The one that they showed in E3 with all the zombies moving around really fast.
Oh, I don't remember the name of it.
But that one, I don't remember what else, but they're the only ones releasing these single-party games.
Here's the thing.
And maybe Bethesda.
Yeah, Bethesda's doing it with Wolfenstein, so I'm excited about that. But I gotta hand it to Sony. They've really been bringing those first-party games because I'm excited about Spider-Man. I saw that game and I was like, yes, finally, another Spider-Man. But it looks good.
It looks like a very good Spider-Man. I'm interested in that one.
I love the Uncharted series. I love Horizon Zero Dawn. So, yeah, those games have been, to me, great games that I've loved to play. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn, I was excited. I love the twist. I love the new take on an old concept. I love the character. She's lovable. So,
you know what I've noticed, and I wonder if this is partly aligned with just getting older. I really enjoy I play more single player now than I do anything. I don't remember the last time I got online to play like a multiplayer game was months ago.
Not me. I've always been into single player, and although I did play a lot of multiplayer, like I was a huge Halo fan. I love playing Halo 2.
You don't really play anymore, do you?
Halo 2, no. I haven't played
I mean, like in general, multiplayer games.
You see, I do want to play them, but they're such a crapshoot now that I can't get into them because I don't kind of like it. Like Call of Duty, I love Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. After that, it just kind of has gone downhill for me because it's been the same repetition over and over. Battlefront.
It's just kind of boring to me.
Yes, and
that's like it's missing something. The only thing that gets me interested is the zombies. I'll say that.
Yes, zombies gets me interested. I love zombies, but it's kind of gone on the decline as well.
Yeah, I didn't even bother with the Infinite War zombies.
Yeah, so I used to love playing Halo 2, and that was how we played. And again, couch co-op. We used to play with a couple friends. I used to play Halo 1 we did LAN parties. Played Halo 2. I played it with Player 1 back in the day. And I played it with my family members. So I used to sit down and play it with split screen. Same thing with Halo 4.
All right, but we're going back to the split screen. Back to the strategy guide topic.
So you
use it sometimes.
I use it sometimes. I'll do a walkthrough.
Is there a certain type of game you use it more often than not?
If the game is really hard, I might do it. If, for example, what's a good example? Like I said, Skyrim. This is a game that you kind of do need a strategy guide.
Yeah, or at least you're gonna go, I think, at some point to some kind of electric guide or something. Sometimes quests are broken because of glitches, and you can't figure out what to do or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So the reason I asked you, and I'm interested, is because I have a little bit of a weird thing with strategy guides. I used to love collecting them.
I love collecting everything, dude.
So I have I know you do.
That's the whole point of this channel.
I have for me, the strategy guide stuff started with Resident Evil. I have every single Resident Evil strategy guide. And I used to use it, and I used to use it to the point where I would literally sit down and follow along, like a map.
I used to, as a kid, I used to love reading the Nintendo Power magazines and how they would show you how to beat some of the games. I used to love it just to read it. To me, it was a fascination. Strategy guides. I have the Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. I have the strategy guide. I like reading them sometimes. Like The Witcher 3, I like reading them. I even like the Skyrim one because of the lore and a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, I don't mind. And I mean, I like using them sometimes, but it depends on the game. Like I said, Skyrim.
So open world games, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Witcher 3. All definitely right. Witcher 3. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I hope that answers your question. All right, so I guess the next thing is we'll find out what you're playing.
Well, you go first. Let me think about all my games.
Let me think about all your games. Right now, I have a problem. I usually don't like playing many games at once. But something has happened in the last couple of weeks where I've been playing I started a bunch of games and now I have too many games. So I'm in a bad situation. As far as this specific last week, maybe, and what I'm trying to pass right now, I'm trying to pass Evil Within. I want to get through all of that. And I want to get back into XCOM because I didn't finish that. But really what I'm mainly playing is Evil Within. And I've been playing a game on the Switch. Do you remember the name of it? The one I showed you?
Which
something
one?
Rose or...
Oh, I always call it something different.
Me too. It's a shoot 'em up, the side scroller that recently came out.
Is that it?
Those are the two I'm focusing. I'm trying to be more focused. Okay. Those are the two I'm focusing on.
I've had for the past couple...
Oh, sorry. One more. Link to the Past on the SNES.
SNES.
Says you, man. I say SNES. It's
SNES.
one syllable.
I should beat you
Let
up.
me leave a comment below if you care about saying SNES or SNES or Super NES. I think if it's quick, it's a one syllable, it's good to go. So on the SNES Classic, I've been playing Link to the Past.
How about the Xbox? Yeah, I play the Xbox. Or I play the PS4.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's fast. PS4. Instead of saying PS4, wasting an extra second.
Let's leave it up to the community. Let me know down in the comments if you think it's a bad idea to say SNES. I know very respectable people that say SNES in the gaming world. Go ahead, tell me. What games are you playing? For
the past couple of weeks, I've been tied up in 2 games. I've played Gladius Blaze for the PS4 because we got it. I got it for... How much did I get it for? I forgot.
The limited run game?
Yeah, I think I got it for like $30.
You know how it is that you'll pre-order and you don't even know by the time it gets there.
Yeah, it's been a while because it took a while to get to me. But anyway, I've been playing that game. That wasn't too long. But what's been taking a lot of my time recently has been Supreme Commander.
That's right.
So I have been playing this game religiously. It's an older game. But for me, it's fun. I've been wanting to play it for such a long time. I had part 2, but I didn't want to play part 2 until I played part 1. So I played the whole campaign. Oh my god. There were some nights I did not sleep. If you guys have played Supreme Commander, you know that sometimes it can drag on. Because you're
not playing it right, dude. I remember that one night I was texting you. You were playing a battle you were in that thing for hours in one level. That can't be correct. I think
3 hours and 45 minutes.
Did you bother reading the tutorial?
No. I just wanted to get right into it.
That can't be correct. To
Okay,
take 3 hours for
so
one
listen,
battle.
I'm not the greatest in Supreme Commander, but I have played other strategy games and other games of that nature. But Supreme Commander for me is kind of something special. I started it out, and the first couple levels, I went through them with a breeze. But once I got to the later levels, it's just a lot because they give you a huge map. You have so many forces. You're actually mining for minerals, mining for stuff, and before you know it, you're fighting an air battle with a sea battle with a land battle, and it comes in waves. So, for example, if I have to rescue somebody, and then I have to cross the sea, so I have to have a naval fleet, and I definitely have to have submarines and battleships and turrets in the water, and of course I have to have planes and bombers and stuff like that. So all this stuff has to be done while in my land base I'm creating more resources and more armies, because I'm also going to get attacked by all sides. So it's very fun and very chaotic and very stressful at the same time, because once you get hit in waves, and once the experimentals come out, which are these bigger units that just destroy a lot of the stuff that you build. If you don't build quick, and you don't build right, and you don't build your own defenses, you're gonna get hammered. So I was in this level, for that level that I'm talking about, that 3 hours and 45 minutes. I was fighting a naval battle, an air battle, and a sea battle. And after a while, at the end, I'm like, all right, I beat it. And then they're like, such and such, the villain, he's not gonna give up without a fight. There's a last wave coming. And when I see it, is these giant walkers with these laser cannons, and they're coming at me. And I think there was like 4 or 5. And then I see a huge amount of land forces coming towards me. And then I see a huge amount of sea forces coming from both sides. And I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? So I'm just like there trying to build ships and build everything quickly. And of course, maybe I don't play it, like you said, the best way. I was stressed.
You enjoy it.
I was enjoying it, but I was stressed out. I was like, I think I died like 3 times, and then I had to start over, and that's what took me a long time.
Can you save mid battle?
I try to save as many times as possible because
Good.
because
Playing on PC, right?
Yeah, I'm playing on a PC, but I try to save as many times as possible, because the level can be long, and I don't want to start all the way in the beginning of the level. But once that wave hit, I was decimated the first time, and the second time around, I learned, because I was like, oh, okay, I gotta prepare for this wave. Of course, I knew it already, but I built a lot of artillery and long-range fighters and so forth, and some experimental units, so I was prepared for it. Now, I'm still a novice at this, so I haven't really gotten to play online against anybody, which I'm sure I will get decimated on. But I beat the game. It was fun. It was stressful. And I can't wait to play part 2, because I love it.
Yeah.
It's like a bad relationship. It hits me, but I want more of it. So, yeah, so that's been taking up a lot of my time, because...
Yeah, I know. You must have an abusive relationship, man. Because you always say that. You said the same thing about Dark Souls, right? You say the same thing about Bloodborne. You like abuse, man. You're like those people that like to get hit.
Maybe I'm a masochist.
Maybe.
But 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey or whatever. But it's just that there's something fun, thrilling, exciting, and frustrating about a game that you're there, you're playing it, it's hard, and when you finally beat that...
it's a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, it's a sense
of endorphins.
Yeah, so it's great for me.
Or dopamine? I don't even know.
So, like, something like Dark Souls is great for me. I hate it. I wish they had an easy mode.
Yeah, so do
I want
an
easy mode. Despite the fact that a lot of people say, no, it's not a big deal to have an easy mode. The reason for that is because I would love to enjoy the whole architecture in Dark Souls. I would love to just walk around and see everything. But anyway, what I was saying is that's pretty much the games that I'm playing. What do you call it? Like a masochist in my games?
No, probably just you like the challenge. And once you overcome it, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal for me,
Yeah.
especially if the game is hard. Supreme Commander was extremely... At first it was okay, easy and all that. But towards the last level, it got hard for me. And especially since this is the first time actually played the game. I guess I'd suck.
You should do a review.
Yeah, I guess. I'll do a review if you guys want. So just let me know in the comment section. Look at that. I'm not even talking right anymore. The comment section. So
sounds good. You got anything else?
Other than that, no, because that game has taken all my time, and I'm about to hit part 2. So I probably won't be talking to you for the next week.
Well, we hope you enjoyed. I guess it is the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Unceremoniously.
I guess. Well, let us know in the comment section if you guys want us to play any games. If you guys want me to put up some footage of Supreme Commander and watch me fail miserably. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope it wasn't too negative for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, and let us know always. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. We're going to continue to try to do the best we can at getting
Tell your
content
friends,
out there.
tell your family members. Hey, have your dog subscribe. We all
anybody.
appreciate it.
Doesn't matter. All right, this is Player 1.
And this is Player 2.
Signing out.
Later, guys.
Thanks for watching.